is Martha. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you are new to this channel, please make sure to subscribe and turn on your notifications so that you don't miss another video of mine. Today I'm going to be doing my first ever story time, and I'm going to share to you guys the story about my first panic attack. So it is an interesting story, and I hope that you'll stick around to hear it because it was life-changing. Okay, so just some backstory really quickly with how I felt about anxiety and panic attacks before I experienced my first official panic attack. Before I was very skeptical about it. When I saw people like blogging or making videos about it, I was like, okay, they're just doing it for attention. Like, everybody goes through this stuff. Like, they're just being dramatic. But after a while, a lot of things started changing in my life. I began to realize that I was someone who also dealt with anxiety in a more intense way. And the reason I say that is because I do feel that everybody in the world universally goes through anxiety, and it's an emotion and it's a state that we can fall into. And I don't think it's just a handful of people. I think that everybody is susceptible to that feeling. However, I do think that there are some people who experience it more intensely and more frequently than other people. And I realized after going through several depressions, after going through several situations in my life, that I was one of those persons that dealt with anxiety in a more intense level and more frequently than I would personally like to. However, with being a believer, I felt like I had a pretty good control on it. And there came times where I was on a brink of having a panic attack, but was able to calm myself down, was able to control the situation, and for it to not escalate to a severe panic attack. I thought that I was good. I thought that I was fine and that I was normal and that everything was okay. But little did I know that was not necessarily the case. I never met it face to face, handled it, or even identified that I had an issue with anxiety. I just thought that it was kind of like a whatever thing until last year, at the very end of last year, when I experienced my first ever official panic attack. Oh my gosh, guys. So let me just tell you what actually happened. So this was near the end of last year, near the end of my academic semester, where there's exams, there's projects, there's assignments, and not to mention I was in internship, I was working, I was doing things for church, and I was very, very busy, especially during this one specific week. I was so busy. Like every day there was a lot going on. And there was an assignment that I had due for one of my classes, and it was a project, a pretty important project. And I had started it early on and had, done several things for the project, and it was just left for me to do was to combine it and compile it into a perfect project, Because this week was really busy and I was all over the place, I kind of left this project for the last day to turn it in because I thought, I've already worked on almost every single thing. It's just all about putting it together. Not a big deal. It won't take me that long, I was wrong. So that evening I sat down to complete my project, and I slowly started to realize, oh my goodness, this is a lot more work than I anticipated, and I have no idea if I'm going to be able to finish this. Now, for those of you who don't know, I am someone who I am very like on top of my deadlines. Never in the history of my academic career did I purposefully or accidentally turn in an assignment late. I'm not that kind of student. So it was due at 11:59. I'm working on it like just hours, just typing away, typing. And then it slowly starts to get to 11 p.m. and I'm still not done and I still have so much left to do. And I'm like just pounding and pounding. Then guys, it's like 11:30 and I do not see the end. And I know what you're probably thinking right now is like, really, you are talking about anxiety, you had a panic attack over an assignment. Like, you guys have no idea. This course for me, I really liked it. I had a good relationship with my professor. This project was very important to me as well because it was like having to do with my career and everything. And I really am a perfectionist, especially when I'm passionate about something. So I was like, oh my goodness, I'm going to like fail, I'm going to turn this assignment late, like this is not good, I'm ruining my reputation, like what is going on, I'm going to have to like talk to the professor and like I don't like giving excuses. There's 100 things going on in my mind and I was slowly starting to break it down. So it's 11:30, I am just typing away, researching away, trying to get this handled, and then all of the symptoms started to happen of a panic attack, like literally all of the symptoms. I was dripping in sweat, I was shaking, like I was trying to type as fast as I could, but I couldn't because I was shaking so much. I was having difficulty in breathing, like I'm not even exaggerating, like I could not breathe. And then as time started to tick closer to that 11:59 time mark, I just started to no. Suddenly, I just had those urges to like pool vomit, you know, like vomiting. And it happened twice, and the worst part was that I was like throwing up and I was like, no, I am wasting time, like I need to go back to my assignment, like this is not fun. I was freaking out, guys. Like, I may sound like kind of jokingly about it now, but in that moment I literally thought I was gonna pass out. I felt so lightheaded, I felt so like terrible. So I threw up once, came back, tried typing away again, and it's like literally 11:44, and then I'm typing, I'm literally shaking. Then it happens again and I have to run and throw up another time, and I'm like, hurry up, I'm trying to finish this, Martha. And I go back to my laptop and I'm typing again. I somehow at 11:58 managed to finish the assignment. It was not necessarily the best thing and I'm not necessarily as proud of it as I would like to have been, but I finished it and I submitted it. And then afterwards I just sank into my bed and I was like, what just happened to me? You know, I was familiar with panic attacks, I was familiar with like the symptoms and all of that, and I was like, I'm not sure, but I think I just went through a panic attack. And then I just started like researching everything, and I really had gone through my first panic attack, and let me just tell you, it was not fun. Again, I may have just described everything kind of like jokingly, but it really was the worst experience of my life. Everything going on at the same time, like this lack of control, and then all of the other feelings that you get of like nausea and like sweating and then shaking and like vomiting, and I was like crying in tears. Like, it was not a good experience at all. I felt so embarrassed. I felt so like just traumatized, and I literally sat in my bed like, what just happened to me? Why did I allow that to happen? And then I just started to like sympathize with people who I knew who had gone through panic attacks and stuff like that, and realizing that there were many times in my life in the past where I literally was so close to going through those experiences, but I was able to control it just in time to stop it. And then I was just so thankful, like, oh my gosh, Lord, thank you for being there with me during those times in the past. And during this moment, like, it was something that shouldn't have happened, and it was kind of because I caused it, waiting to the very last minute to finish an assignment. But then, like, the things that kind of triggered it was that I was so, like, passionate about it. I was so, didn't want to, like, do the whole turning it in late and then making an excuse, and then, like, those are literally, like, my pet peeves. And so all of that combined was what made me or caused me to have this panic attack. I know that everybody experiences panic attacks and anxiety very differently, and for me, this one occasion, I got to see a different perspective of it, and it was not a good perspective, and I learned so much from it. Definitely I learned so much about my feelings and my emotions. Honestly, I didn't really tell anybody about this experience. It was just kind of something like, okay, that happened, and we're never going to talk about it ever again. But I wanted to share it because I know that many of you guys experience anxiety and panic attacks in different ways, and I wanted to be able to kind of just share my experience and also like what I learned from it, and hopefully like this could help somebody else. And before this video ends, I just want to share what Philippians 4 verse 6 says, and it says, "Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God." I know sometimes when you're going through an anxious situation or anxious feelings, that verse kind of, instead of being breath of fresh air, it's kind of like a sting to you, and it's like, yes, I know, but still, trust me, I understand that. And if you guys want me to talk a little bit more about this topic, I know there's millions of videos here on YouTube, but if you guys would like me to share some more about it, I would definitely be willing to, because it's something that we can all relate to and that we can all grow and help each other with. So yeah, that was the story about my first panic attack. If you liked this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. I would so appreciate it. And I will be seeing you guys again next time, where I will be sharing a anxiety panic attack playlist to you guys that I think will bless you. So stay tuned for that, and I'll see you very soon. Bye guys!